Hey guys, welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here, being subbed. If you're not, hit the button, and if you're listening on YouTube, hit the like. It's like walking in the room, hitting the light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into the politics and BS. So when it comes to the subject of politics, it's honestly not a very popular subject when you are in the midst of maybe friends, and definitely not when you are in business, and it's definitely not something that you should be discussing when you are an employee and you're talking amongst yourself with other coworkers, and definitely not with the boss, right? Because it's a very touchy subject, and we know that for the most part, those who do vote, they're voting either for their best personal convictions when it comes to their beliefs, or when it comes to their bottom line, which is the finances. Now, some, it may be a mix of all of those things, right? And then, of course, there's a lot of people who are apolitical. They're not political at all. And some that are apolitical that don't vote, or some like myself who are apolitical who do vote, but you don't even really know if your vote is really making much of a difference. And that may seem stupid to some people, but what I have told people over the years when I have had conversations here and there, not often, about voting, the reason I do it is because it is a right that I have, that I know that people who came along the way before me fought to have, but not only fought to have, for those who fought against having those like myself having the right to vote, which being a double minority, I'm a female and I am also African American. I know that they go through great lengths and have gone through great lengths and are still going through great lengths to prevent people like myself from voting. So I feel like, well, if it's that big of a deal to those who are in the majority, who make up a vast majority of not just the ethnicity of the country, but also the wealth of the country, I'm not going to sit idly by and just not vote. Now, while I can understand some people feeling like, well, what good is it doing for me because they're not doing anything for people like myself? Well, the thing about that is if you don't vote, you essentially are voting, and you're usually voting against your own best personal interest, because people like Trump, they're definitely not going to enact policies, legislation, laws, acts, amendments, rulings, anything like that that's going to be beneficial to you. So it really baffles my brain when I hear people who come out of the woodworks when it's times like this, when it's crunch time, when they come out to talk about why this candidate is a terrible choice for Black people. Well, where the hell were you all the last 4 years? And listen, I'm not saying that everything that was done during the tenure of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris was beneficial for every minority. I'm definitely not saying that. And I get that when people talk about, well, they passed the no Asian hate bill. What do they do for African Americans? Well, what did you really do? Like, if you're that vocal, then what did you really do to press to ensure that they are going to do something for you? Because I feel like if you really care that much to try to convince other people not to vote for Kamala, then you should really have a track record of what you were trying to do in politics to make some changes. And you could be someone who is an activist and you share your views on this and that and the other. But you sharing your views on social media is not going to change things in politics. It's not going to change things in policies. It never will. It never will. And I'm not even here to say that some people who may do the activism are not being helpful to people in their own community. I will never take that away from those that are actually doing that. But I do believe that they do a disservice because I don't hear them come out and talk about Trump. I don't hear them come out and talk about MAGA. I don't hear these people coming out to talk about the terrible things that are being said about Kamala Harris because she is a minority. Whether people want to say she's black or she's mixed, she's biracial, or she's more Asian than she is African American. Like I'm hearing so many different things. And okay, whatever. But is Trump looking out for you? No, he's not. He's the only reason why he's running for office is because he's looking out for himself. That's first and foremost. So he's not even looking out for others, but the things that he will enact, those who want him to be there that look like him, they know that ultimately the things that he puts in place, it's going to be beneficial for them. So that's why they want him there. And they wouldn't mind him not only serving another 4 years, but serving in that office until death. And it's just disgusting to me when I'm hearing all of the horrible things that are being said about Kamala and why she doesn't deserve the vote. But these same people are not saying why Donald Trump is a terrible choice and why he doesn't deserve the vote, or he doesn't deserve the pleasure of you sitting it out and not voting for Kamala or him, because that's going to be beneficial for him. Because it's even insane to me that with all that people know, with all that we see going on, with all of the indictments, convictions, the impeachments, he's been impeached twice, all of the other things that are going on when they're talking about Project 2025 and just the mess of it all when they're trying to roll back the clock on so many things. I don't hear these people spending all of this time to go down the list of reasons why Donald Trump should not be reelected, but they're going to spend time, couple of hours, doing social media posts, whatever, talking about why Kamala Harris is a bad choice for Black America. That's sad. That saddens me. But it also infuriates me as well, because when you have this news story that's trending right now about the young lady, Sonia Massey, who was gunned down in her home by a police officer, she didn't do anything to deserve what happened to her, and even was cursing her grave pretty much because he had already taken her life, calling her a crazy F&B after he did what he did to her. And these same people who are spending the time talking about why Kamala Harris is a bad choice for Black America, they're not spending the time to talk about how if Donald Trump is reelected, these same police officers, that they are going out of their way to not hold back, even if they're going to carry a gun and shoot it, that it shouldn't be at will, but they can't hold back to not shoot somebody point blank in the face. Why is it never the foot or the hand or, something like that? It's like they're going for the KILL immediately. They're not spending the time to talk about how if Trump is reelected, these same police officers, he's pushing for them to have blanket immunity. Now, I know that so many situations have happened with police officers where they unfortunately have not been held accountable by the jury, so they were found not guilty. But there's been a whole lot of them that actually have had charges filed and have had some sort of responsibility held to them. Now, while the responsibility may not be what people were hoping for, wanting, praying for, it's more than what would happen if Trump gets in office again. He's pushing for them to have blanket immunity. No questions asked. But people are going to spend their time talking about how Kamala Harris is terrible and she should not be the choice. Honestly, at this point in time, there is no freaking choice. Like, what are you going to do? Are you going to step up and run? And we already know that's not going to happen. So it's stuff like that that just really bothers me. And people need to understand and realize that these celebrities are not your friends, okay? They're not your friends. So just because you may see them tweet about Donald Trump being their choice or whatever, they are not your friends. We already know how Kanye West feels about Trump. That goes without saying. Who knows if he'll be on his square at the time to vote that he actually will cast a ballot. Who knows, right? Azalea Banks is another one of them who says that she's pro-Trump. Waka Flocka. Who freaking cares? Sexy Red? Are you kidding me? Has she ever even voted? Like, seriously, I feel like people like her, they just say a lot of stuff on social media, but it really means absolutely nothing. But having that type of following and influence, it's extremely disturbing. We already know, the reason Amber Rose is doing it. And DJ Academics, absolutely trash. But like, has he been arrested yet? Like, when is that going to happen? So, he and Donald Trump, they have something in common. They've both been accused of sexually assaulting a woman. Although Trump was found civilly liable, so far, DJ Academics has not yet. Kodak Black, yeah, he got pardoned by Trump. So, of course, he's going to be before the Orange Man. And there's a few more of them. I'm not going to waste my time going down the list and calling names. But for anyone to sit and listen to a celebrity that says that they're voting for Donald Trump, you have to remember that you're not in their same tax bracket. Those celebrities that do that, they're doing it either because it is for them beneficially in the finances to vote for him, or they are a so-called friend of Donald Trump. And most regular people cannot say either, one or the other. So when I hear people who are spending their time going down a list of why Kamala Harris should not be voted for, they don't really sound any different than these people in this MAGA crew who are saying a lot of despicable, deplorable things about Kamala. Some are even calling her a whore who slept her way to the top, and all these different things like that, right? Calling her the diversity, equity, and inclusion choice to be the vice president. She only got the position because she is a female and African American. So that was going to be what helped Joe Biden to sway the vote his way. Okay, so they're admitting that Donald Trump lost. Is that right? Because I thought they were saying that Donald Trump actually won and the election was stolen. But I digress. They all do stuff like that. They all do things that are going to be beneficial for them to get the vote. It has happened over the years in almost every circumstance. We already know why John McCain, who's no longer here, why he picked Sarah Palin. As dumb as she was and is. Because he was running against a black man. And we already know why Barack Obama chose Joe Biden. He was a white man. There was no way that America was going to vote for two black men and get them in office. So he had to have a white man on the ticket. And it just so happens this man is someone who had been in the position of being in Congress for years, so he had the experience. Like it's never just some angelic reason as to why they pick these people. It's politics. That's why I call this segment Politics and BS, because a lot of it really is BS. And I'll tell you, I am speaking about these things because it is a lot of it disturbing and some of it low-key terrifying. But I also am not losing my faith and my hope and trust in the real God, not the one that these MAGA people claim that they are believing in, because I don't believe any of these people are actual believers, right? But I am going through this life, passing through it, but I want the time that I am here passing through it to be as peaceable as possible. My God, like, I was born in America, far from perfect, but definitely not North Korea, not Russia, not China, didn't get born in a communist country. So some of the freedoms that I do have, I would like to hold on to them and do my best to see that as I live here, that things could probably be better for my child, and maybe someday if I do have grandchildren, for them. So for people to sit idly by to say, I ain't voting for her because of A, B, and C, and X, Y, and Z, then you might as well just go ahead and vote for Trump. But if you're going to come out here to give the laundry list of reasons as to why she's a terrible pick, then do the same for Donald Trump and go down the much longer list as to why he is a terrible pick. And at least give people the choices. If you have people listening to you, then all right, go down a list of reasons why you don't really care for Kamala, but also in the same breath, in the same videos, in the same social media posts, go down all of the reasons why Donald Trump is a terrible pick. And then allow people to see the differences. But see, they'll never do things like that. So that's why I feel like it's hypocritical and it just bothers me. So I just wanted to talk about that. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for being here, liking, and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.